noticed a small baby crow making small leaps across the road a few blocks from my apartment as I carried the late night shopping home. I stood there for a moment, wondering how it got there. It couldn't fly yet, but was clearly heading somewhere. I thought of following it, but dismissed that thought with the idea of eating. I was always gluttonous. Later that night, I slumped into a chair and heard the modest ding of the microwave. I started choking when the last light of death sifted into the rest of the world. It was one of those ready meals, but as soon as I put the fork to my hungry taste buds, I choked. The choke forced the fork down my throat, but I couldn't stop it. I thought I was pulling, but it only went deeper through my gullet, and into the flow of blood around my body. I started to spit up blood, whilst I shoved this metal fork down my throat. For an apparent eternity this went on. The agonizing pain and panic that threw me against every wall in the small, tight room. With both hands I grappled the cutlery that was now halfway down my throat, and still I persisted in throwing myself about. Why did I have to be alone? This little room, full of anger, persistent tears and suffering, went unnoticed in the world, but it was everything I knew at that moment. I wasn't about to let it take me, forgotten, into death. This wasn't an accident. I was killing myself with no clue why. Within seconds, I grabbed the knife that was left on the plate, half spilled on the floor with my left hand, and looked at it for a moment. For 1 second of complete silence I looked, thinking nothing. At the knife in my hand, I crunched my eyes tight and thought of praying, but didn't. The cut into my neck only took a second, and the pain was forgotten to the pain I was already going under. Blood was already slowly covering the wood-board floor, and this only made the mess worse. God knows why I thought of that in that particular moment. I guess it helped me believe that this wasn't happening. Anesthetics, I always thought, were more pointless. I grabbed the fork from where it was crashing through my neck in a volley of red blood, and yanked it, trying to get it out. It fell to the floor with a pin-drop sound. Exhausted, suffering, bleeding and crying, I collapsed to the floor in a dizzy state, and in sheer horror saw at the window. That face, distorted, smiling, waving his own bloody dinner fork in the air. Its throat was already seared open. "You should have prayed," it choked, with what seemed to be blood spattering across the window. Was that me outside? I tried to imagine it wasn't, but with that thought, I passed away under the ceiling of my forgotten cheap apartment. The light hopelessly flickered and fizzled away. Hey guys, if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. You can also leave a comment below. All feedback, good or otherwise, is always appreciated. If you have any creepy stories of your own, or have any topics that you would like me to cover, feel free to send them in via any of my social media. You can find all links to my social media in the description below. Until next time guys, make sure you lock your doors, stay safe, and I'll see you next video.